your own.
Yeah, it's been a busy day in the lonely house, let me tell you. 3 older ones are getting ready to go back to college this week, and I like to try to make special stuff for them the last few days that they're home. Of course, I like to make special stuff anyway, but today is shrimp scampi. And I have here half a stick of butter, and then I'm using a 1/4 cup of actually garlic infused olive oil. You don't have to use that. We just like garlic in our house a lot. And I've got my burner on medium, but I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so that this gets nice and toasty warm, because I'm going to add almost a whole bulb of garlic. I took about 4 really large cloves and probably 2 more cloves and added it all and minced it all up. And this is getting warm, so I'm going to add the garlic and saute that for a minute or 2 so we get nice and toasty, because there's no better smell, I'm telling you, than cooking garlic, except for maybe bacon and onions. Chris knew what I was going to say. Shrimp scampi, really, you shouldn't be afraid of shrimp scampi. It's not hard to make. It's just a little bit of prep work, especially if you get shrimp with the shells on like we got today. And I bullied my husband and my son into taking the shells off of the shrimp. And then it's just a matter of watching it, you know, paying attention to what you've got going on. So I'm gonna, this is getting nice and toasty and bubbly. Look at that, isn't that? Oh, it smells so good. And it's pretty too. That garlic is getting to the perfect golden color. And I don't want to mess up. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 1/4 cups. Sorry, that was my oven, y'all, telling me that it's time to put the rolls in. 1 1/4 cups of a good Sauvignon Blanc. You can use a Pinot Grigio too. I like the Sauvignon because it has just a little hint of sweetness to it that goes really, really well with the shrimp. And so I'm going to just let this reduce. It's going to take 4 or 5 minutes. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more, let it reduce down to about half, and then we will add a little bit more seasoning in our shrimp. And while that's reducing, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to what I've got going on the stove here. I had some broccoli and cauliflower, some fresh broccoli and cauliflower. There's a little too much water in there right now, but oh well, we'll drain it. And I wanted to do, you know, cheese sauce. So I cheated and I took a can of cheddar cheese soup and I added about 1/2 cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese, and then about 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg, because nutmeg adds just a little bit of earthiness and bitterness to this. And I'm just keeping this warm on low until it's time to eat supper. So I'll see you back in a few minutes when I add my shrimp.
Go.
All right, my sauce has reduced to about half of what it was. I know this because look at how much of that garlic you can see now. That's a lot of garlic that you can see in there, and that's totally fine because we like garlic, like I said. This is the juice of 2 lemons, because you can't have shrimp without lemon, my goodness. I'm going to put about 1 teaspoon of kosher salt in here. I've got, where'd my parsley go, Chris? There's my parsley. I am, you know, about 1 tablespoon of parsley. I'm not going to measure it. I'm not going to get it open either, apparently. There we go. Just because it looks pretty. Isn't that pretty? And then freshly cracked black pepper to taste. I'm going to mix all that in there and let it simmer for another minute or 2. Let all those flavors start blending together, because that is the absolute best way to make sure that you have really good food, is by taking your time and letting those flavors blend in together. The other thing, I know I said that about trying to get the kids ready to go today, but Chris and I have spent a lot of today getting a lot of things ready. My garden has been producing like crazy. We picked 23 pounds of vegetables this morning. Okra, squash, zucchini, butternut squash, green beans. So I canned green beans, 5 pints of green beans. I canned 6 quarts of butternut squash, and I actually made this soup base. So this soup is lovely. All I have to do when I want it is take it out, heat it up, stick my immersion blender in it, and then put a little cream in it, and it is wonderful. It's so good. So this is about ready. I'm gonna add my shrimp. I've got about 2 pounds of shrimp here because we have lots of people in this house, so we eat lots of shrimp all at once. I'm gonna turn my heat up just a little bit because that shrimp made it get cold in here. And the most important thing is just to watch it and make sure that once your shrimp starts turning pink, you're done. You don't want it to overcook. Rubbery shrimp is not good. You can see the shrimp is already starting to turn pink because of how warm my base was. But we got to make sure that all of the shrimp turn pink all at the same time. And that's the important part too about why you have to reduce your concoction, because you don't want it to be too watery, too liquidy, but you also want to make sure that you've got enough to cover all your shrimp when you serve it. So I will be back in just a couple minutes when this is all done so you can see how lovely this turned out. Oh boy, y'all, we now have shrimp scampi. Look how pretty that is. I wish y'all could taste this, but since you can't, I'm just gonna have to eat your share too. Try this recipe. Tell me if you like it. Y'all take care.